Jocko, one of our favorite humans, has SE at the top. It's masculine, it's double activated, so it's like a really pure form of sensory. It seems to be, this is kind of like what I've collected in my own self and seeing it in other people, that we kind of get obsessed with what is realistic, like what is provable in reality.
That's what the sensory function's doing.
Yeah, like it just seems like that's something that we value, something that matters to us. Like, guys, that wasn't real. You're trying to fake something, and I don't like it not being, real.
The
realistic.
intuitive saviors are just going off into analogy land all day long.
Right. They're, like, if we're talking about, in this situation, a gun or an airplane, it's an analogy. I don't mean actual gun or airplane. It's some kind of analogy. With sensory, it's like, no, I'm actually talking about the thing. I'm talking about the real sensory thing. So let's watch Jocko actually critiquing movies and how they are not as realistic as being a Navy SEAL in real life.
45 minutes at the beach landing site.
That's one thing they usually miss in military movies is in a helicopter or an aircraft. It's so loud in there, you can't just be having a normal conversation. You got to yell and scream at each other or write stuff down or use hand and arm signals. How much time? 30 seconds means you're 30 seconds from you going out.
What's a minute?
This right here. Super complex. Let's go back. Loading magazines, that's pretty unrealistic. You should have your gear prepped prior to the jump procedures.
Jesus, Dane, who the packed your chute? It doesn't look good. I wouldn't jump it if I were you.
What's happening right there is actually pretty realistic. Having your buddy check out your equipment. In the SEAL teams and really in all branches of the military, you rely on each other to make sure you're safe. The guy's checking the other person's pins on his rig to make sure that they're gonna deploy his parachute properly. And then he's actually messing with them, which is pretty normal too. If you know someone's scared of parachuting, then he's gonna get messed with a little bit more. Never let anyone know that you're scared of anything. Once you hit the water, now you need to assemble your crew. And normally you'd be jumping out with a boat. I think in this particular scene, they commence immediately on a dive, which is not very realistic. The distance that you'd have to travel on a dive, if you were to parachute in, you'd have to be at least over the horizon, which is 12 nautical miles out to sea. You're not gonna be able to dive 12 nautical miles. There's no human diver that could do that. So that's pretty unrealistic. Well, we move underwater a lot, but we do it while we're diving. So appearing like that is not very realistic. For just about any mission, you're gonna try and maintain security and silence for as long as you possibly can. And then the biggest thing you wanna get on the enemy is surprise. Let me pause it right here. It's just kind of not realistic at all. I guess they're trying to make things look cool. It always surprises me a little bit because, like I said, it's the best job in the world. You don't really need to do anything to it to make it seem cool. It is cool. It's awesome. So as far as like a random dude being able to put his hands up to time this sniper shot, it's dumb.
It's just like how casual and almost annoyed he is.
Yes.
This. Here's an ST report. This happens, then this. It works this way, not that way.
Right. Everybody has sensory, everybody has intuition. So you're looking for not do they have the ability to talk about details. It's what emotional state are they in? Is he in a savior state when he's talking about all of the sensory, all of the data?
He's not giving analogies.
No.
And he's not making the information line by line and getting stuck in like, okay, here's one layer of thing I want to talk about. I want to dive deep on one thing.
Right.
He's just talking about this fact, this fact, this fact, this fact, non-personal, moving on to the next one.
Right, exactly.
And in a very casual state.
Contrast of that would be like Jocko on his podcast. This is more of the demon state. This is like dark. Jocko's inner world would be demon FI and demon NI. So you're now seeing him in a completely different state.
Right. And his podcast is not sharing what you saw in that GQ video or whatever, where he's sharing his saviors.
Right.
Which is military stuff, ST stuff. He's not sharing that later in life.
Right.
On his podcast, he's got 4.5 hours of sharing his demons.
Right. And notice how there's like one word here. This is very single NI concept. Why getting to know your people is important. Literally saying the why, the understanding, and the value of getting to know your people. He's talking about his demons. All right, so take a look. You're going to just watch the vibe of the difference of he was in a savior state in the other one, calm, obvious, super easy, and now watch his vibe and how slow he talks. He prepared ahead of time. He has stuff written down, and now it's serious. He's going to be more talking about analogies, preparation, what's coming next.
This is Jocko Podcast number 212 with me, Jocko Willink. The path of jiu-jitsu is hard. It is a hard path. You have ups and downs. And there are times when you've got to work, and there are times when you get injured, and there are times when you get mentally defeated, and you feel like you don't want to do it anymore. And those days go on and on and on. But if you do the right thing, and you stay on the path over time, you will move forward on that path. You will move forward on that path if you keep your nose to the grindstone. You move forward on that path if you have the humility to say, you know what? I still have more to learn. And that's the same way it works with life. You're going to have ups and downs in life. Things are going to go wrong. You're going to lose businesses. You're going to lose jobs. You're going to break up. Things are going to go wrong.
He's using the analogy of jiu-jitsu and bringing it to, you're going to have to stay consistent, which is going to be, by the way, the hardest thing to do for an EP is staying consistent, staying on the NI path. And now he's connecting it to business. He's connecting it to relationships. That's what NI likes to do. I like to take one singular concept and I like to connect all these different things.
Yeah.
And now it's even written down. He has it beautifully written down and he's just quietly, slowly reading it because this is serious. This is a big deal. This is meaningful. And it actually is because it's in his demons. I love watching Chaco's podcast because there's so much value there.
It's what we keep seeing as what an alpha is. It's somebody who's preaching their demons after going through their saviors.
Right.
I don't want to hear the same message about how life is like jiu-jitsu and the grindstone from Tai Lopez.
Right.
Because it's like, that's easy and obvious to his NI.
Right.
You know, I want to hear SF from Tai Lopez.
Very good.
How do you make things popular? How do you work in real reality?
So true.
So that's all we're really, that's how we're doing this.
Yeah.
That's how we're watching this, is everybody's got saviors and demons. Everyone's going to be talking about the N and the S. It's just like, where are you casual and where is it really serious?
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini. Fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. Fact. I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had installed. The whole 2,000 new books that I bought. It's like a billionaire Warren Buffett says. The more you learn, the more you earn. The real reason I keep this Lamborghini here is that it's a reminder that dreams are still possible, because it wasn't that long ago that I was in a little town across the country sleeping on a couch in a mobile home with only $47 in my bank account. I didn't have a college degree, I had no opportunities. But you know what? Something happened that changed my life. Now, I'm gonna tell you the secret so that you can buy a Lamborghini too. You wanna know what it is? Drop out of college. Listen, we've been lied to. There is something being perpetrated right underneath the surface of society that everybody's overlooking. It's kind of like magic. You hold things you want people to see here, and what you don't want them to see, you have operating underneath your hand. You know, they put it right in front of your face. All of us have been taught from our childhood, wait for the lottery ticket of life, that thing outside of our control. Go to college, that's the thing. High IQ, that's the thing. Lottery ticket, that's the thing. Oh, you have to be born in the right family. Do you know what people focus on? All the things that don't matter. What if everybody in the world was educating themselves instead of just sitting in front of the TV? So I'm watching commercials. What do I see? 90% of all commercials are pushing things that are bad for you, that are bad for your health, that are bad for your wealth, that are bad for your happiness. It's a scam. How about 1 million people strong saying, you know what? This is killing us. This is killing our kids. This is killing our family. You know what will have the biggest bang for the buck? Optimized brains in 7.3 billion people.